Greetings, beautiful viewers. This is Smitten. Welcome to How to Fail at Smite, my original Smite series where I pick up a new god for the first time and poke fun at how I play so that both of us can learn from my mistakes. Episode 21, Artemis. Artemis appears to be your standard ranged carry, but I never really played her. Now with the latest patch's new tweaks to her, I wanted to see how I'd fare. Turns out it's just another fail. This time, the Frost Giant is on my side, and luckily for us, we're paired up against two squishies, Apollo and Anubis. Ymir initiated on the Anubis with his freeze and ice carpet, and I was completely caught off guard by this. Even though we have minion advantage, I wasn't prepared to get right into the thick of combat. Usually I'm laning against a Ymir, and so I'm familiar with how threatening he can be early game, but I'm not quite sure how to function with him. He starts dancing back and forth, and while I was in this game, I was misreading his body language. Once the last of their ogre minions are down, he dives in, but gets wrapped up by Anubis. I start to back off because I assumed that he would too, but he keeps going, taking heat from both of them and their creep. I was too concerned with taking out the archers rather than assisting my tank in battle. He's pretty low and starts to back in the middle of the lane? I panic and move forward to try to get him out of there safely. What is he thinking? Even I know this is a bad place to back. I watch in horror as Anubis moves in to stop him, but Ymir sidesteps it just in time. When he moves back into the jungle, Anubis interrupts him with a basic attack. I'm stunned by his choices so far. Could this be a duo fail lane? Chapter 1. Where did that come from? Ymir makes it back to the lane, and while I should be feeling reassured by my teammate's presence, I'm a little wary of his behavior. He seems unpredictable. He misses with his Frost Breath on Anubis, and we move forward with our minion line. I start the early game minion grind and pace back and forth. To be honest, I'm really starting to feel like this is going to be a terrible game. To me, it doesn't look like this guy has ever played Ymir before, and I appear to have a better understanding of this game than he does. Oh god, he's starting to pace back and forth. He's getting antsy. That means he's about to do something. What was that? Was that a blink, Ymir? Despite being mezzed for a sec, he clubs the dog to death and starts to go in for Apollo. I'm so dumbfounded by this. He knows what he's doing. That means that earlier he was trying to bait them by backing in an obnoxious place. I don't even know what that looks like from this angle. Chapter 2, Lifesaver. We are back in lane and I'm feeling a little more hopeful now about this game. Once again, I have been reminded that I am the noob here. They just cleared our minion wave and they're moving in on. I should have backed off once I saw that Anubis was flanking me. Oh, please don't, please don't, please don't. Whoa! Wait a second, I gotta see that one more time. This is probably the most beautiful Ymir wall I've ever seen. He saved my life, but I really should have known better. I mean, this is standard Anubis behavior. When he's marching at you, despite being squishy as shit, he's trying to wrap you. Back to the action. While I'm trying to get out of the green muck, Ymir blinks in, lays down his slow, and starts his ult. I try to keep Anubis in the damage with Tusky, but I was just a bit too late. Apollo is trying to save his lane mate from my auto attacks that I can't land, and buys Anubis the time he needs to escape with his mesmerize and his knockback. If I would have run straight through instead of to the side at the start of this engagement, I would have been able to keep Anubis in Ymir's ult. Even the tiniest split-second decisions are crucial in this game. Chapter 3, Inspired. I've pushed my way up their lane and get ready to exact my revenge on their first tower. Fenrir moves to the jungle to see if their blue buff is handy, but I keep my focus on the tower. I activate my steroid and start to chip away. When Fenrir moves back into the scene, I remember all of the times that I've gotten killed because they've come through this very exit and placed a trap from map visibility. We turn our attention back towards the tower, and what do you know? Anubis moves up from behind us. I stay just long enough to take down the tower and I turn to book it, but I can hear ults going off from Apollo and Anubis. I can't leave my teammate to die like that. After I realize that he isn't making it and the enemy is hot on his tail, I finally turn around and release Tusky on them, buying time for Fonro. Now, this isn't a fail, but this demonstrates that all it takes is one supportive person on a team to start a chain reaction. In solo queue, it's hard to find people like the Ymir in this match who understand that you win games through cooperation, coordination, and teamwork. It's called a reciprocal relationship, an eye for an eye. If someone saves your ass, you should help to save the asses of your team. Chapter 4, It's a Trap! I'm defending middle lane for AO while he's staring at a res timer and watch a low health Anubis closely. I try to pick him off with my volley but miss completely. I apparently refuse to learn from my observations. Anubis quite literally reenacts the backing in the lane baiting strategy, and of course I fall for it. I bought beads this time, but it's on cooldown, and there isn't anything that Ymir could do to save me from getting burned down by Anubis' ult. But hey, at least I got him! Chapter 5, Directionally Challenged. Since I escaped from one tower being defended, surely I can do the same here. It really was poor timing though, as my team was on the other side of the map and unable to assist me should anything go wrong. I can't afford tower hits and the tower is almost down, so I take a second to volley the archers and get back to work. Even with Cupid here, I want this stupid red tower and rubbles at my feet. I step out of Cupid's ult and let Tusky loose when I see that I could be stunned with his heart bomb. This is good, I'm immune to CC, but I run in the worst possible direction. Chapter 6. Nowhere to hide. We've pushed up middle lane and I take this time to counter jungle. I'm a little concerned that they will end up cornering me in here, so I burn most of my cooldowns in the endeavor. I round the corner to see Anubis burn down Squiggles with his ult and slowly backpedal while I watch him work. Time to put that red buff to good use. Too bad Odin was the only thing that Tusky could ram. Odin stops for a moment to fight me, but then decides that Fanro was more of a threat than I was, and after he killed Anubis, he tries to escape, but gets taken out by Apollo's ult, and being body blocked in their jungle leaves me fighting to my last breath. Chapter 7. Why there? Back to mid for a good old-fashioned team fight. Sobek tosses Cupid and I'm ready to start critting on him until Odin jumps in. He buys time for Cupid to get out of there, but Sobek bites a huge chunk out of his health with his ult, and I step in to deliver the final 2 shots to pick up the kill. Sobek, Ymir, and I all move in on Cupid, who really has it out for me. It's time for some payback. He drops Fields of Love and a heart bomb on me, and the very same wall that saved my life blocks me from escaping the damage from Cupid's ult. The solution? Use my Aegis. Whatever. When I do have actives, I always forget to use them. Chapter 8. How to waste every ability. In the jungle next to Fire Giant, I come face to face with the recently rezzed Odin, and once he sees me, he lays down Ring of Spears. And how do I respond? By calling Tusky. I know that Odin is also CC immune for the duration of his ultimate, but I wasted my ult out of panic. I race towards my team in middle lane as it seems they forgot all about me and desperately call it for help. But Odin blinks in, determined to take me down. I use my volley to slow him, pop my beads, and run down the lane. Not long after getting the Fire Giant, the enemy team surrenders. A good game to my opponents and a good game and well played to my teammates. The first 15 minutes of the game looked bleak. My team was arguing and blaming each other. We had 3 of our towers down and we were struggling to keep with the pace. But eventually, everyone swallowed their egos, regrouped, and came out with a win. I was very impressed by my team. Not by their KDR or anything meaningless like that. I was impressed by how they handled some early game grumpiness and general willingness to help each other. I hope to see more of this in future games. Artemis was interesting to play. Before the patch, none of her abilities had a way to allow her to effectively escape, but being able to place traps further away and the movement speed increase to her ultimate makes her a far less easy target in my opinion. And now for the juicy bits. Artemis' passive is still target. When she lands a basic attack on an opponent, she gains a stacking 5% bonus to her critical strike chance to a maximum of 3 for 4 seconds. Transgressor's Fate is her first ability, also known as a trap. She can lay down a maximum of 3 traps, which act as wards and crowd control for enemies who get within 5 feet of one. They are rooted for 2 seconds and take 25 to 85 physical damage, scaled by 30% of her physical power for 3 seconds. The recent change to Artemis allows her to place traps 35 feet away rather than 10, allowing her to more easily snare running opponents or initiate. Throw a point into this at level 3 and max it last. Make sure to keep a trap or 2 in the jungle if you haven't placed any wards there. Her second ability is Vengeful Assault. It's her attack speed steroid, giving her 35 to 75 additional attack speed for 3 to 5 seconds. Throw a point into this at level 2 and max it second. Suppress the Insolent, also known as Volley, is her third ability, an AoE attack that deals 90 to 350 physical damage scaled by 30% of her physical power, and slowing targets caught in it by 25% for 2 seconds. Throw a point into this at level 1 and max it first. Her ultimate ability is Caledonian Boar. When you see Tusky, you know you're about to be slightly annoyed for the next few seconds if you can't kill it off. But now, instead of just dealing 150 to 450 physical damage, scaled by 100% of her physical power, and stunning for 1.1 to 1.5 seconds, it also increases her movement speed by 20%, giving her a more effective escape mechanic. Throw a point into this every time it's available. For her item build, she's going to be built just like your standard ranged physical carry, so this should seem familiar to you. Start off with Death Toll and then start building into Ninja Tabby, which complements her passive nicely. Follow that up with Devourer's Gloves for the lifesteal, followed by Executioner. After that, pick up Deathbringer if you're well farmed, or grab Titan's Bane for raw penetration, or Void Blade if you need protections yourself. After that, grab Deathbringer if you haven't already, followed up by Rage, and the build is complete. As always, if you have to buy protections, grab Bulwark of Hope for magical protections, and Hide of the Nemean Line for physical protection. And so concludes the guide on Artemis. If we tickled your fancy, make sure to rate and subscribe for upcoming videos. You can also come hang out with us on Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch to see us streaming live. Links in the description. Feel free to leave your suggestions on how to play this god, as well as any feedback you have for us in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, I'm Smitten, and I'll see you next time.
Good game.